Well, welcome back to Channel Run. Today I'm going to be working on a generator. This is an old power guard. I was told this has been sitting for about 10 to 15 years. I opened up the fuel and it has been sitting for quite some time. It smells really bad. A lot like that ice auger I did a few years back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow it all down with some air, and then I'm going to take some engine gunk. I'm going to spray this all down, let it soak in. I'm going to wash it off, get it inside on our workbench, and start tearing it apart. Cleaned up and it all looks pretty good. I turn it over very easily and it does turn over. I do feel a little bit of compression, so this is good. So I believe the engine itself is probably going to be okay. The next step is to flush the old fuel out. So I'm going to pull the fuel line out. I'm going to drop possibly the carburetor itself, flush out the tank, and then we'll go on from there. Let's go ahead and get that old fuel out of there first. I'm going to say there's probably, I don't know, it looks like there's a quarter of a tank in there, but it's hard to tell. Where it's a black tank, it's hard to see down in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an old gas can here and I'm going to drain what I have. But before I do that, I want to kind of put it in this clear container so I can give you a visual of what it looks like. It looks pretty bad inside the tank. So we'll go ahead and pull this line here off. See if I can get this all over. There we go. Not sure if you can see that, but that should be a lot clearer than that. It's pretty nasty looking. And it smells horrible. I don't even know how to explain the smell of this fuel. Go ahead and shut that off. So we know the valve works. Just to give you a little bit of a visual on what this looks like. Not very good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and continue draining this into this tank right here. All right, we'll let that drain, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some good gas inside here, slosh it around, and rinse it out as best I can. All right, so I put some gas in there, I've sloshed it around, and it's coming out a lot clearer now. All right, so somewhere on your generator you may find an air cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and remove that because I can't get to the other fuel line because it's in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. Air filter looks pretty good. Doesn't look old at all. Alright, got the air breather all off. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the carburetor off. Now these are all going to come off differently. This one here obviously is going to be a little bit different than what you've got going on, but the object here is to actually get the carburetor off the unit itself. While I was working on this, I noticed that the throttle is stuck as well. It's not the governor and everything, it looks like the throttle is. So go ahead and pull the carburetor off there. Make sure that the linkage goes back the same way you took it off. And a good way to make sure that you do that is just to take a picture of it. Alright, so there's the carburetor, and yeah, that's froze right up. Can't do anything with it. So I'm going to spray this all down. I'll put this in the wash tank, clean it all up, and hopefully that's all we need to do. It's probably going to be a good time to go ahead and see if we get any fire. Now that I got the carburetor off, I don't have to worry about pulling up any old fuel. So go ahead and pull the plug out. And just like the lawnmowers that I showed you before, let's just set that off to the side and see if we got any fire. This is not good. Okay, we have no fire. So we're going to have to get into this a little bit deeper. So I'm going to put the carburetor on hold. I might just let it soak in the tank for a little bit. and then I'll come back to that. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull off the side cover and see if I can see what's going on. Just made a discovery. These 3/8 bolts that are holding this shroud on are loose. Okay, so isn't this one down here. So that's telling me that this probably had a problem to begin with. If these are all loose, and someone's probably already been in here. All right, well that's okay. So we'll go ahead and pull that off. And it looks like we're going to have to remove the fuel pump as well. Go ahead and get that out of the way. I know I don't normally wear these gloves, but this fuel is just so nasty. I'm just trying to keep it off me, but I'm going to have to get rid of them here in a little bit because they're kind of in my way. All right, let's pull that fuel pump out of the way a little bit. Pull that side cover off. All right. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some sandpaper and clean this flywheel up first. And if I have to replace this coil, I think I may even have some of those around. But I'm going to try the flywheel first. And like I said before, if you're not exactly sure where the wires go, just go ahead and take a quick snapshot of that. I've got a pretty good idea on where they belong, but just to be on the safe side, take a snapshot. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean that flywheel up a little bit. Use the sandpaper. Okay, we still do not have any fire, so the other thing that I can do is I can make sure that the coil is set right. And usually what I do on this is I just take a piece of paper, I fold it in half, loosen up the coil, set the coil down, and then that's usually what I set it at. We'll try that. If that doesn't work, then we need to pop a new coil. What we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper, we're going to slide it in there, I fold it over twice, I'm going to loosen up that coil. And we're going to allow that just to sit down there. And go ahead and tighten it back up. And let's see what that does. Look at that. That's all it was. Probably can't see the spark from the camera. So the coil just needed to be adjusted. Again, this is the way I do it, okay? Everybody has their own way of doing it. The professionals have a way. This is the way I've always done it, and it works fine. We have spark, so we can eliminate the coil being the problem. So now we can get back into the carburetor. Now that we got the spark on the motor, and that's all set, let's go ahead and dig into the carburetor itself. Let's take a little break. Alright, I had to take a little time on this because I had to order a new carburetor, and it just came in, and I just kind of checked it real quickly through the package, and it's the right one. And I'll put a link down below where I got this. 16 bucks I think is what I paid for this new carburetor, and look at that. Should have done that to begin with. Should have just ordered rather than trying to clean that one. So let's go ahead and reverse the operation and put this all together. Okay, so remember the linkage. We want to put that on first. Make sure you get the little spring in there along with the linkage itself. There we go. Go ahead and put the fuel line back on. Now I've already flushed out the line and everything, and I've even flushed out this fuel filter here, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it if I can get it apart. And I'm going to go ahead and put a new fuel filter in. Make sure you go in the right direction. Go ahead and put your fuel line back on. Like that. Alright, now we can put the shroud back on. And just make sure that you plug the wires back in where they go. And if you took a picture of it before you unplug them, you should be able to plug those right back into where they were. So let's go ahead and put this all back on. Alright, let's go ahead and get the old spark plug back in. Okay, we're all set. I've got some fuel in the tank, got the fuel filter, got the new carburetor, everything is all set to go. Got some ear protection here because where I'm going to be yanking on this pull cord, the exhaust is right here, and if this is anything like the old Sears and Roebuck generators, they like their back. So we got ear protection for that. I'm going to just kind of pull some things away here just in case it starts rattling around. I have a fire extinguisher standing by in case things go bad. I'm going to leave the air filter and stuff off at the moment just so I can kind of see what's going on in here, making sure that everything is all set. So, with that said, let's kind of clean up some things and see if this thing's going to start. A little bit of starting fluid to kind of kick it in gear a little bit, a little quicker. Now, the other thing I want to do is where these generators, basically what happens, as soon as you start them up, they go into full throttle to generate electricity. And I want to be able to control that. If this has truly been sitting for as many years as I was told, I really don't want this to start up and be in full tilt. So I want to actually back that off just a little bit, just to let it idle up, warm up, and then kick in. I know they're designed to do that, but I just feel better being able to control the throttle. Here we go. In case you're wondering, I've already changed the oil in this, so it's got fresh oil. I'm just going to turn it over a little bit here, just to make sure. I didn't even try that since I put it all back together. It still pulls over okay. Yep. Just going to move it around a little bit here. Get the oil up inside there. That exhaust is right there in my face. So I think I'm going to try it on the other side here. Here we go. A little bit of starting fluid. Switch is on. I'm going to pull that throttle back just a little bit. Okay, the test went really well, so now all we need to do is go ahead and put the carburetor shroud on and the air filter back on, and then we'll go ahead and set it in the driveway and let it run. I think we are ready to let it go. Okay, so there it is, all set. I let it run out here in the yard for about an hour. I actually plugged in a bunch of power tools, ran them, no problems at all. Started right back up after shutting it down, so it's good to go. So all I need to do now is deliver this to the client, and I should be all set. Thanks an awful lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.